Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the Triple Threat Podcast, back from quarantine and lockdown. In today's episode, we will be discussing the long hiatus, Corona in sports, and interviewing our very first guest, future rugby pro, current U20 All-American, Asa Carter. Hit that intro.
All right, well, guys, how's it going? How is it going through all these crazy times?
It's been a minute.
Our last episode was February 20-something, I believe.
Damn, February 20-something.
The world was such a different place.
We were worrying about cheating scandals and XFL games, and then all of a sudden the world stood still.
Hey, that one fateful night in OKC, they stopped the damn game, and we've been in a movie ever since. Forrest Whitaker needs to be our president if this is a movie.
You know, ever since Kobe died, the world's just gone downhill.
R.I.P.
Rip Kobe, Mamba mentality all day, every day.
No, but seriously, it's been crazy. Everything was going steady. You know, we were pumping out podcasts once or twice a week. And then all of a sudden our campuses got shut down. Coronavirus hit and our lives have been forever changed.
You know, I seriously wonder, like, getting a little serious here, down the line, a decade or two from now, like, I wonder what we're going to learn from, like, the whole lockdown and from, like, you know, maybe a bunch of people have more mental illness or drug addictions because of, you know, the lockdowns, but I'm sure that affected a bunch of people differently.
There are good things to come out of this and there are bad things to come out of this, but I feel like I've learned a lot about myself just having all this time alone. Honestly, I don't mind being in lockdown. Like, yeah, sometimes I want to drive my head through a wall just because I'm tired of being in the house, but honestly, it hasn't been bad. I've picked up new hobbies, you know, trying to keep busy, watch new shows. I've pretty much watched the whole catalog on Netflix at this point. But yeah, I mean, honestly, quarantine has been good. I am ready to just get back to normal life and stop worrying about all this stuff. But, you know, not complaining. You gotta bring light out of the situation.
You gotta roll with the punches, right? I mean, that's a cliche, but, you know, I just feel like we're gonna come out stronger for this, hopefully, as a nation. Either that or we'll get more and more divided, but I'm gonna look optimistic. I'm gonna look on the other end of things.
Well, on the lighter things, the lighter note, you know, there's been some crazy things from the last podcast to this day right here. So, you know, let's go over some of the things that have conspired since the quarantine.
All right. We have missed a lot and we have a lot of catching up to do. So I'll go first. My first thing that we are going to talk about that has happened since the last podcast is my man Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson purchasing the XFL and raising it up from the dead.
If you're some man, what The Rock is cooking.
$15 million. It would not be a Triple Threat podcast if we didn't talk about the XFL a little bit. And boy, oh boy, were we sad to hear that it got canceled and the league went bankrupt and everyone got laid off and the season got canceled, whatever. Boy, were we sad here at Triple Threat. But my man, The Rock, has revived it, resurrected it, brought it up from the depths of despair, and we're going to have another XFL season.
Did in Ballers. If you think about it, real talk, The Rock was like probably watching an episode of Ballers. He was bored at home and he was just like, I'm just F it. You know, I'm just going to buy the XFL and I'm going to bring this back to greatness. And it's got the Rock stamp of approval. I'm in. I'm sold.
I'm in. We were already in, and now that The Rock's back in the league, I believe that it's really going to take off. So
does he present the championship like he presents the BMF belt, they like hype it up.
He just
They
walks
give this
around.
man like a halftime show just to present like the championship of the XFL.
Dude, that would be hilarious. What if this is The Rock's return to football? What if this is his way in? He wants to come back. He wants to go play D-line somewhere.
Do you think his knees can do that?
It's The Rock.
It's The Rock, man.
Do they have to pass?
Brace him up. That man is in peak physical condition at all times.
Do they have to pass drug tests? Because I'm very sure this man is on steroids.
He's
now,
on
this is
something.
the XFL, and I feel like some things can, get swept under the rug, especially if it's your league.
I guess he is like, what, 48? I mean, he's old, so I
he's
guess he can
almost
get
50.
a natural test.
How old is The Rock?
He's almost 50.
He can get a
we go, here
natural
we go.
test and it be
He's
legal
like
because
49,
the doctor
right? 48?
prescribed it.
48.
Wow.
Wow, that man's 48 years old, still killing it.
And
He looks
he's
good for 48,
He does.
man.
I mean, you know why he looks good for 48, but let's be honest, bro. When I saw him presenting the BMF belt, was that like a year ago or a year and a half or something like that? Bro, he was wearing like a shirt 4 sizes too small, walking around the octagon with just like this look like he could beat anybody up. And I was scared.
It was like a battle of the schmediums because Joe Rogan was there and Joe is wearing the tightest black button-up tee you could ever see.
Ooh, Joe.
And he has those tight slacks on, man. You could see every part of his business.
The battle of the schmediums. I think The Rock is winning that battle, but Joe Rogan, his wardrobe choices have been interesting as of late.
Quick point on Joe Rogan, man. He dresses like everybody's favorite dad. You know what I mean?
He's the cool dad, he'll let you drink a beer with him.
Yeah, like I want to
He's
go.
like,
I want
"Yeah,
to
you
go to
have a
Jimmy's
beer?"
house because his dad's cool. He lets us stay up late and drink beer. That's
He
hilarious.
has like all these vintage band T-shirts and stuff.
Another crazy thing that happened during this quarantine. Earl Thomas getting caught with, his brother at an orgy.
What you talking about, what?
Man, his wife pops in with a gun, threatens to take this man's life, gets herself locked up. She came there with the crew though. In the report it said they came with 2 other women. So she was really about this business. She knew what was going on.
She was gonna kill this man.
Just
She
to
was
get a
gonna kill
felony.
this man.
She has 2 felony charges up right now. I don't know if he
had to have dropped him.
he had to have dropped them, but if he didn't, that would have been really baller of him.
That would have been,
Bro,
but, man.
you know how people worship Future? People would have started worshiping Earl Thomas, bro.
Who do you think started that? Like who started that orgy? Like, hey, let's get this together. Him or his brother?
Earl Thomas, no, his brother. It had to be his brother. I'll take that back. It's his brother, bro.
And whenever you're brothers, you always got each other's back. So Earl was probably just like, okay, yeah, like I got your back, bro. I can't let you do this alone. So really, Earl probably wasn't even meaning to cheat. He's probably a really great guy, and she just misunderstood the whole thing.
He was being a good brother. He was like, there's 3 women, 3+ women here, Earl, and there's just one of me. I can't do this
like I
on my
can't just
own.
send him in there on his own. Like that's, he'd just get eaten by the wolves. But
What type of brother would he be if he just sent his brother in there with 5 other women and just him?
He's his brother's keeper. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly, bro. Yeah, it's all just one big misunderstanding, bro. Earl was just trying to back his brother up. I totally understand.
Bro, it was a tag team.
I think we
it was
do
a
the
tag
same
team
for our
match.
brothers. They're going for the belt.
Speaking of
Everything can be looped back to WWE.
speaking of NFL, we had a new crazy innovative virtual draft this year. We got to see Roger Goodell in his basement, chilling, getting the fans hyped on Zoom, just so we could see Jordan Love go to the Packers and Aaron Rodgers go somewhere else in a couple years. That's besides points. How do you guys think the virtual draft was executed, and how did you guys like the virtual draft compared to the normal draft that we've had for like 100 years?
it wasn't what I thought it would be. You know, when I thought it was going to be at home, I pictured Roger, Goodell in his PJs. He's like, hey, guys, this is the NFL draft. He reads out the thing and just goes back and sits on his recliner. But they made this big thing with the fans in the back just to virtually boo him. And I don't know, like, how great that was, because he didn't feel the full effect. I didn't see that many people boo behind him. You gotta have a big ball sack to just boo the commissioner right in front of his face. Like, he's seeing you eye to eye.
I think we also failed to mention he probably has a warm glass of milk, 1. And 2, forgot that ESPN wanted you to cry during the draft because they mentioned everything that could have gone wrong in someone's life. Jacharius Cherry, drafted by the 49ers, had his brother killed by a dragon at age 5. His mother abducted by warlocks at age 12. He's gone through it all. His grandmother was killed by man-eating sharks. Why, they're just...
I get it that, like, stories are going to bring viewers and ratings and whatever, but, like, bro, it was like, oh, you didn't have a traumatic past? All right, next pick. like, let's go. Yeah, whatever.
Your family was a blue-collared, middle-class family that didn't have any hardships. Next pick.
Yeah, like, come on. We need some substance here. No, yeah, it was interesting. But one of my favorite things about the draft was just, like, I don't know, watching Bill Belichick's dog draft for him,
Yeah, draft war rooms were very fun to look at because people were having their sons in there, their kids. I thought it was a good family-friendly environment in those war rooms.
It was. I think they did a pretty good job. But yeah, eventually Bill Belichick was like, all right, I've drafted enough. Like, you can take over. And his dog was just chilling in the war room by himself, making big baller moves.
Bill Belichick's dog picked a D2 safety in the 2nd round. Shout out to him if it works. That's a smart dog.
I mean, you can always use the dog as the scapegoat if this draft doesn't work. He said, I didn't do anything.
You can always put him down, I guess.
Old Yeller style.
All right.
That was messed up. I take that back.
Speaking of NFL, we've got a new team. A rebranded team, a new face to the franchise. The board of the Washington R-Words sat together and they thought long and hard about what their next name should be, and they came up with this dandy little thing right here. Washington Football Team.
Fire,
bro. They thought long and hard about that, had all kinds of meetings, and they came up with it. One of the dudes said, I think I got the one. You guys are going to love this. Washington Football Team.
They just sat there in amazement, bro. They did. They said, oh.
Ooh.
Well, the Washington ownership really just fumbled the bag on this. He's just been like, the whole time they've been like, we're not going to change this name. I don't care what you say. We're not going to change this name. These guys didn't have one single backup plan. Not one. They try to get that one name, and then trademarks come in. Now we go, Washington Football Team.
Yeah.
Just for a year, though. Just for a year.
And on top of that...
But if they win the Super Bowl, they got to stay that name, right?
Yes, for sure.
That's part of the, the bargain.
Yeah, and on top of that, today... Just this morning, the Washington Football Team tweeted, "This is our new hashtag, hashtag 1932. Well, their social media team failed to realize that you can't make a hashtag out of just numbers. It won't work. So they're going to have to change that. And basically, this whole thing has just been a mess. Like, they've fumbled this whole situation. It's terrible.
I think the best tweet was LeBron calling out Washington football, saying, this is a real original name. And somebody tweeting back, man, your son's name's LeBron James Jr. You have no room to talk. It really took you some brainstorming to make him the second of you.
I'm dead. Yeah, I saw that. I forgot about that tweet. Yeah, you can't talk.
Literally, bro. You can't talk. You named your son a junior. He's a junior, bro. That didn't take
He's a
much thought
junior.
process.
And no offense to all the juniors out there, man. That's great. But I'm just saying, you could be more creative.
Come up with a real name.
Real original name.
And to all the juniors out there,
The thirds.
I'm really sorry.
But, you know, even if you're a third, they'll call you like Trey. But I don't know if there's a name for the fourth. So if anybody knows the name, if you're the fourth, like the nickname, I'd love to know.
If you're a fourth, you should be allowed to just legally change your name for free, like no problems at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know though. I think it'd be kind of cool to have the Roman numeral 4 at the end of my name. Like, that'd be kind of hard.
Oh, for sure.
Or the 5.
But
Roman
what if
numeral
your
5.
name's like? What if your name's like Rumpelstiltskin or some
Rumpelstiltskin.
terrible name?
It's been in the family since since the 1600s.
I've been haunting
like
families.
Neville Goof Gobbler the fourth.
I'll just go by IV.
Ivy.
IV.
What about if your name was Doofenshmirtz?
Oh yeah, see, that's a free change right there, bro. Whole new family, whole new identity.
Whole new everything, bro. You're like a KGB agent relocating to America, bro. Hey, I'd like to bring it back to the XFL for a quick moment.
Okay.
You know, with the way the season was going in the XFL, who do you think would have won the $1 million game, the championship? You know, their Super Bowl.
Being as though I can only name 3 teams off the top of my head, we're gonna go with my guys, the St. Louis Battlehawks. Who y'all got?
Honestly,
Washington.
oh, DC Defenders, huh?
DC
the
Defenders.
DC
Cardale?
Defenders.
Was that Cardale?
Yes, that was
Oh.
Cardell. I'm gonna go with Big Game Bob. I think he would have got it done. He's Big Game Bob.
You think so? You
Yeah,
think
shout out
Big
to-
Game
Shout out
Bob
Big
get it
Game
done?
Bob.
Shout out to Coach Jackson.
Best quarterback in the league, Landry Jones, proved it day in and day out.
Big Game Bob is owed over $1 million by
Hey,
the
Mark
XFL.
Trestman's owed like $425,000.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
man's terrible.
Send it in the invoice.
That man should be making no more than 5 figures to coach football.
That man should just be banished
High
to
school
Canada
football.
forever. Like, he can't come back to America.
Yeah.
Man. Just can't get right. Coach can't get right.
Hey, buddy
He
coach,
can't,
but he was the quarterback coach for Steve Young. But I say, it's Steve Young. So you're not really doing a lot of
Exactly.
coaching. It's a Hall of Famer.
That's like saying I coached LeBron. Like,
But
okay.
LeBron don't take
Nobody coached
coaching.
LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron coached LeBron.
GM LeBron. Coach LeBron.
GM LeBron.
Owner LeBron.
Coach LeBron. Player LeBron.
It's all the same guy.
Jackie Moon.
Hey,
Yeah,
LeBron
it's
is
Jackie
Jackie
Moon.
Moon.
He is.
But I'm taking
Wow.
Jackie Moon in a one-on-one. The sweet post
Hot
moves.
take.
That's a very
Sweet
hot
post
take.
moves.
Hot take.
I think Will Ferrell can out-sing LeBron and outplay LeBron.
LeBron can't sing.
Taco
At all.
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
All right, bro. Enough LeBron talk.
Yeah, not the LeBron talking. Let's talk about the GOAT. Let's talk about the GOAT, Michael Jordan.
Ooh.
Over quarantine, ESPN said, hey, we're going to give you 10 of them. 10 of them things.
5 weeks
Man,
of
and they
awesomeness.
were just... Man, that was like crack cocaine, man. I wanted to hit every Sunday.
It was, bro. Because at the time, like, we had nothing, yo. We had ESPN the Ocho on one time on a weekend at an obscure hour of the night. And other than that, my sports itch had not been scratched. And it is a perfect time for them to drop Last Dance. And it kept me afloat for 5 weeks.
I think all the LeBron, fans out there.
Hey, you could say it.
Or just-
LeBron sexuals.
hate the LeBron sexuals hated every minute of it. I loved every minute of it just to show, you young folk. I know I'm 20 years old, but you young folk that don't think Michael Jordan was that guy, you cannot go 10 episodes without saying, man, this man is the greatest to touch a basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't do it.
And if you did do it, you're lying to
So
yourself.
I've got 2 questions for y'all. I'll answer my,
Okay.
I'll have my answers for my questions either, before y'all answer. 2 questions. So what is your favorite episode of the Last Dance docu? And then what was your favorite story that you heard? Me personally, my favorite story from the Last Dance documentary is the Rodman stories. Any Rodman story, bro. And like the Rodman clips, like, so they land and like the bus gets to Utah and Phil Jackson's like, anybody want to head to the pool? And Rodman's like, I'm heading to Hooters. I'm gonna see ass and tits.
We go to the swimming pool, guys. Watch some tits and ass.
That's a Rodman quote. And then all the Rodman episodes I loved. And then my favorite, this Jordan episode was episode 9 with him and the Pacers. That was my favorite. I think that was my favorite one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, no, Rodman, that dude is just different, bro. This is the most like 90s basketball thing I've ever seen. Like, he literally just was drinking a Miller Lite, hopped on the motorcycle and rolled out, bro. Like, could you imagine if LeBron did that today?
There ain't nobody saying anything about him drinking and riding a motorcycle.
He probably is
Nobody.
like tipsy too. He may not be drunk, but he's had like 6.
I mean, he was out there crushing Miller Lights in the parking lot and then just dipped off on a motorcycle to end the episode.
Just some badass bikers he's biking with, bro.
I think my favorite stories to come out of this Last Dance was just how extreme Michael Jordan was about winning. The big story about him not letting Horace Grant eat after a game. Like, when I heard that, I said, people were just bred different back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was only about winning, nothing about getting yours or whatever. If that happened, that happened. These mugs were out there just trying to play basketball.
Crazy.
Man.
Crazy.
5.6 million viewers from The Last Dance. It's the most by any ESPN doc, to the date. I mean, you gotta tip your cap at ESPN for saying, hey, we're gonna bump this up in the schedule and we're gonna give you guys what you want. We're gonna be the plugs of the TV industry right now, and we're gonna give you some good dope.
And they did. Let me tell you.
What about you, Dak? What's your favorite, episode and story?
One of my favorite things was just like Peyton said, MJ's competitiveness was on a different level. Like, this man created scenarios in his head that the opponent was talking crap just so he could get fuel for the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was mad at Karl Malone and Karl Malone never said anything to him. Like, that's how crazy Michael Jordan was. But one of my favorite things was watching the inter-squad scrimmage between the Team USA.
Oh, yep.
And they were getting heated, bro. Because, like, that's top-of-the-line competitors right there. All of them have a different gene in them. Like, they are just full competitive, like, testosterone-ridden dudes. Like, you know what I mean? So they're going to butt heads, and they're going to go hard. And that was so fun to watch.
A point about the USA team, they showed some clips from the Dream Team doc from about, what was it, Devin, 6 years ago? They put out
the Dream Team one they made in like 2012.
But what I really loved was they really kind of went behind the scenes on this Isaiah Thomas controversy. And
what a loser Isaiah Thomas is.
You know what I'm saying? If Jordan was the guy to say, hey, I don't want him. My biggest thing was it was all Jordan. People were saying, oh, Jordan. But you didn't hear Magic or Larry saying anything about, hey, let's get Isaiah on this team. Hell, even Chuck Daly knew, hey, we probably can't have this mug on the team.
Hey.
Nah, yeah. No, he was just that dude that nobody liked.
Remember
the Pistons were that team that nobody
y'all
liked.
Remember the Scotty Burrell stories?
Oh my god.
Bro, that's imagine being a rookie, bro. You're a rookie and Michael Jordan is just on your ass every day, bro. Just clowning you, bro. Clowning you and just belittling you. Or being Jerry Krause. Just being called short and fat.
Poor Jerry.
Short and fat all the time. So you just ruin a freaking dynasty, bro. Because you're just getting called short and fat every day.
One of the best quotes He said, Jerry, you gonna come out here join us in layup lines? He goes, oh yeah, and he goes, I'm gonna have to lower down the rim.
Yeah, bro. MJ and Scotty were always throwing
They
jabs
were
at
so
Jerry, bro. It
messed
was so
up
funny.
sometimes, but it was kind of deserved. But it was like, damn.
The cocaine circus
Ooh.
when Jordan first got there. The memes that came out and were like, this man said cocaine circus. I didn't do any of it, and his eyes were yellow. You couldn't even
All
see.
them cigars.
You couldn't even see a thing of white in them.
Yeah.
All them cigars, all that red meat that's gonna give you cancer.
Hey, I got so keeping it on the basketball train. I know we're about to talk about the bubble in a few moments, and then we'll get into our interview with Asa Carter. What do y'all think about Lemon Pepper Lou?
Oh, Lemon Pepper Lou. So, you may have to like fill me in on the whole story, but it's my understanding that this man left the bubble for some reason just to go to Magic City, and his excuse for going to Magic City, one of the biggest strip clubs in America, is that he wanted lemon pepper wings.
That is true.
That is incredible, man. Lou Williams.
There
Hats off to Lou Williams.
Round of applause.
There is an exotic dancer that claims that he did more than just eat lemon pepper wings.
I mean, come on. Are you going to fly from Orlando to Atlanta or drive there or whatever just to go get
No,
wings?
that'd be stupid.
While at
That'd be
Magic City?
stupid.
Come on now.
I don't know. Them wings probably
I
hit.
bet those wings are like crazy good. Just make you real fast and loose with your change. You know what I mean?
real fast and loose.
Yeah,
with your
what are
chain.
they putting in the wings, bro?
I start getting a little heavy. You start throwing a little bit more ones.
Yep.
A little bit more.
Yep, that's how they get you. No, yeah, that is hilarious, bro. Like he can't expect us to believe that he was just there for the wings. And if it's true that he was just there for the wings, then boy,
Ooh.
Man,
shut B-dubs down right now.
I need them
I got
things.
another thing. So this is not Lemon Pepper Lou, but what do y'all think? So I know, Dak, you about to get into the bubble, but this little story, I don't know, it's a little lost in time. Kelly Oubre tweeted a little bit ago when the bubble was first started that you could get food from DoorDash or like Postmates. And then that one NBA player did it, and they freaking quarantined him, bro, and he tweeted, he was like, oops, guess
bro.
not. Imagine being that guy
Spreading
that's
false
you saw that
information.
tweet and was like, oh, it must be Kelly said it. It must be cool. It must be good, bro.
Yeah, he orders. I just picture him like, oh, sweet. Gets on Postmates like right that instant and then orders food and goes down there and you just see an NBA official like, nope, get in your room for 10 days.
No, he had to. I was about to say he had to quarantine after that.
Yeah.
Just for putting his hand outside of the bubble. They're like, yeah, you
That
can't do
Rona
that.
real slippery. You don't know where it at. So
It's like that the Simpson movie when they're
It is. The dome.
that's from the Simpsons movie.
Bro, that's what we need, bro. We need the dome.
Ooh.
We just need helicopters to come drop
we
a
need
dome
Doug
over Orlando.
Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome. Home of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Dude, no, but like, I think that's so funny because he even asked security if they could go get it for him. He was like, can you go get that for me and bring it in? And they were like, no. So he went out there and touched it and got quarantined for 2 weeks.
What do you think you ordered?
Magic City Wings.
Damn, really? I could see it.
That's a bill.
That is a bill.
That's a bill.
That dude's driving from Atlanta
Drive
to
to
Orlando.
Atlanta.
I don't know. I've never done that
Those
drive.
wings,
but
those wings wouldn't even be good by the time he
that
got
dude
there.
probably eat them. He probably ate at least 4. A little hungry.
Yeah.
Be a little
Man.
hungry on the drive.
If it wasn't like a full meal, because these guys were already complaining about the meals in the bubble. Like you're at bleeping Disney World, bro. Just like calm down. But what do you think it was? I think it's probably like some mashed potatoes,
From where?
steak, green beans.
Is that
maybe
worth
asparagus.
risking your life
No.
for?
Hell no.
Honestly, bro, I
Exactly.
bet it was something like bad for you, bro. I bet it was like some.
Canes.
I bet it wasn't even Cane's, bro. It's probably like Charlie's or
McDanks.
something. Charlie's chicken. It was chicken, but it was like it wasn't Cane's. It was like
That's real suspect from you, man. Some racial instances coming down
Because I
your
said
voice
Charlie's chicken, no canes.
You said it was it was chicken.
Oh, come on
chicken.
now. I'm just like, I'm saying it's chicken. That's my guess.
I see. I
Okay.
see. All basketball players eat
Hey,
chicken.
well,
You're
Dak,
right.
bro, what you think about that bubble, dog?
So the NBA bubble, bro. I think the NBA out of all sports did it right. I think the bubble is cool. I mean, obviously, I've seen interviews where players say that it's like starting to get boring. No one's catching any fish anymore. Yes, you could go fishing. They even stocked the pond with fish so they could catch more fish. They built a barber shop in like 2 days. Everyone brought their Xboxes, PlayStations. They all live in a hotel with their roommates or their teammates. So roommates. And they all are close to each other. They can order food from Disney. Some teams are in like the nicest Disney World hotel ever, and some teams are in like the really crappy old Disney hotels. So some kind of got screwed there. But overall, I think the bubble's pretty cool.
Hey, I think same with the NHL. I think they did it right with their two bubble cities that they have, or two hub cities. They got Toronto and Edmonton, and they're keeping their players in a bubble. So I think it's proven that the bubble works. And if you're not in the bubble, what are you doing?
But you know who didn't do it right?
Major League Baseball.
The WNBA.
Ooh.
Nope, the WNBA.
Curveball.
And yes, the bubble's most likely working. I haven't heard any reports of like people getting corona, but they are staying at IMG Academy, which is a high school in Florida, I believe.
That's
Yes.
tough.
And they have some tough living conditions. One WNBA player found a worm on the floor of one of the rooms. The food looks absolutely atrocious.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
it looks disgusting. Right here, we're looking at a picture of lemon slices, zucchini slices, and some steak. And I don't even know what else is
That
on
looks
here.
like dog food,
But
bro.
it literally looks like someone mashed it up with their hands and just threw it at a plate as hard as they could. Just
Meatloaf
splattered it all
surprise.
over it. Yeah, and then also, one of the laundry rooms was just absolutely disgusting, torn up. The whole ground was messy. I mean, it looks like a complete cesspool to live in. So WNBA getting treated poorly once again.
Yeah, it's 2020.
You know,
Where's the equality?
Equality.
And I stand with my sisters.
Now, Devin, you were on the right track. A sport that actually did not do it right is the MLB. They have already had multiple cases of corona
Canceled
pop
multiple
up
games.
because they're still traveling. Yeah, they've canceled multiple games. I mean, it looks like a complete mess right now. And the St. Louis Cardinals all went to the casino one night, all got corona. I mean, there are just idiots out there because they have no rules, no restrictions, and that's what's going to
I think,
happen. Once again, what's his name? Robert Manfred?
Yeah, Rob Manfred, commissioner.
Idiot. Stooge.
Stooge.
What a pud.
Hey,
Pud.
I mean, I think Rob Manfred and MLB teams are starting to be a little bit more stricter now. I think they've released like stricter guidelines and stuff, but they're still not in a bubble. So that's the ultimate issue. And you got a guy like Rob Manfred as your guy, as your commissioner, your leader. He's a stooge. So
Dev. Cespedes really just
when
left
is
midnight.
Cespedes bounced, bro?
Cespedes didn't tell anybody that he was leaving just to go to a mall. He was like, I'm not safe at this MLB bubble or whatever they are trying to call this thing. I'm just going to go to the mall and run up a check. That's a lot safer.
So wait, so what happened? Like, because he was missing? Like, everyone thought he was missing? Like, they just saw his jersey was gone or whatever? Like, I'd have no idea. I just heard that Cespedes was missing one day.
Cespedes, so from what I gather, so Major League Baseball's had a few outbreaks and blah, blah, blah. So Cespedes, I think it was like a Saturday night they had a game Saturday night. He was there for that game. And then Sunday, he just bounced, disappeared. No one knew where he was, bro. And he just left. He opted out. Like, he just left. He just opted, like, just deuced.
Wow.
This is not for me.
Like, he was just like, why am I playing baseball when I could be chilling and getting paid still?
Hey, that's just like Vontae Davis quitting at halftime. You know,
But
you just
Vontae
realize that
Oh.
sometimes you're done. You know, Like, this
Crazy
ain't
thing
for
about
you.
Vontae Davis is that he wasn't even playing bad.
I know.
He was having a good game.
He was
Man.
playing good.
Man, these young guys out here, I'm done.
Imagine
Y'all
being
can
his
have this.
teammate. Being his teammate, you're like, Vontae, bro, what you doing? He said,
I'm
man, I'll
done.
see y'all, bro.
Trash.
He has a real
Y'all
high-pitched
trash.
voice.
I'm gone.
He has that real high-pitched voice. I'm done.
very
I'm done here.
close.
These young boys, they too much now.
Bro, who does his impersonation? I saw someone do his impersonation. I was crying. But yeah, it's just like you see your teammate with his normal street clothes on and at halftime and you're like, you good? Did you get hurt?
Nah, man, I'm done.
He's just, nah, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm done with this, man.
Man,
My
forget
knees is
y'all.
feeling it.
My knees is hurt. I'm done.
Man,
don't need this.
y'all playing trash ass ball out there. I
I'm
can't
taking
put
my
name
bow
on
and I'm
that.
leaving.
I'm taking
I
my
would've quit,
and I'm
too.
leaving.
Hey, that year I would have quit at halftime too if I was him. I don't blame the man.
I don't either. But bro, what is he gonna tell his kids, man? Like,
Don't be
yeah,
the truth. He's gonna tell them the truth.
Yeah, don't be quitters. What they're gonna find out? He lived in the social media age. It's all over the place, bro.
He's
All
gonna
they
go.
do
I'm
is
gonna tell
Google
you the
his name,
truth.
and that's the first thing that comes up.
Sometimes money more important than playing a game, kids.
What if I told you?
Vontae Davis, 30 for 30.
So, I'd like to transition into our second half of the podcast, where we interview longtime friend, good man, future rugby pro, probably a first round pick, U20 All-American Asa James Carter.
Government
It's a
name.
correctional name. It's Jameson, but
I mean, I was just cutting it a little short.
yeah, cutting it short for time's cause.
Dak, bro, you got any? You got a question you want to fire off at
All
Asa
right,
real
yeah.
quick,
So
buddy?
what's up, Asa? How you doing, bro?
Doing great. Beautiful weather out today. Just doing well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, look, for those of you that don't know, me, Devin, and Asa go way back. We've been playing football together since high school. Played D-line. Shout out Dogs one time. And Asa, I've known him since I was in like 4th grade. Asa was probably the scariest kid in all of youth football. He used his cleats more than his hands. And if you weren't bleeding by the end of the game, it was an unsuccessful day for Asa. So Asa was a freak on the field since day one. Obviously, he got better and ended up playing in high school with us. And now he is a rugby superstar. So Asa, what led you to go to rugby from football?
So off-season sports, I was looking for something extra, and I eventually.
And this was in high school?
Yeah, this is high school. I was like 15, and I think it was actually Malon Al-Jabori, current USA Eagle professional rugby player.
Wow.
He told me to come out and play, and I mean that was history. I just started playing and loved it ever since.
That's dope. That's dope. So what position do you play in rugby, and like what do you have to do at your position?
So I play a forward position. Specifically, it's a position called lock, and you're kind of like the equivalent in football of like a fullback or a tight end. You do the dirty yards, carrying the ball hard.
Okay.
And on defense, you're making big hard tackles. Holding the line hard, and so you're kind of like a big man that with some mobility. Kind of
Okay.
Utilized player per se.
Yeah.
This
okay,
man's
okay.
the Travis
I like it.
Kelce of rugby.
Oh, good comparison. A big man that has skills or whatever you just said.
George Kittle.
Yeah, skills.
Asa, how was the transition from football to rugby? Was it easy? Did you find it, a little bit, hard? Explain how that went for you when you were transitioning.
Oh, it definitely was a little hard. It's it's like a little different of a game from football. Football is very much like a downhill constantly sport, and rugby, it takes a little turn on that. It's a change of like timing and, getting from point A to B at a certain window of time, not just how fast you get there. So, that was a big transition. Playing defense too, you like the defense in rugby play a little differently than from football. Football, you're kind of going for the guy with the ball, but rugby, you gotta, be aware of passing and all that. So, it was a little different switching seasons from rugby to football. I'd have to have a little transition period, but most of the time it wasn't that bad.
Interesting. So how is it like contact wise? Like, is it way more physical than football? Because you guys don't have pads on. Like, people are out there getting hit full speed still. Like, what is the contact difference in football and rugby like?
Yeah, compared to other, physical sports.
Man, it's like the closest thing to compare it to is like getting hit with like a wooden board versus getting hit with a pillow all game long, man. Football, man, like it's physical, but it's just harder on your body because you have like metal and plastic hitting you all the time. Rugby, at least it's like, skin and muscle and bone, but I mean, like the contact's still hard out there. You're hitting shoulder onto leg, and I mean, I'm pretty sore after the games, man, I'd say, but like I honestly would go say football is rougher on my body.
Really?
Yeah, but I feel like the contact level is the same. Rugby, there's like rules, you got to play a tackle a little lower than like how some do in football, but yeah, it's still pretty rough.
Okay.
Has the whole Corona situation affected anything collegiate-wise or, professional opportunity-wise? What has been some of the biggest outcomes of the Corona and your rugby career?
Man,
who's the governing body of rugby?
The whole world's governed under IRB, the International Rugby Board, and you have sub-unions. So like the United States is ran by USA Rugby, and under USA Rugby they have different divisions for like men's league and like professional and a collegiate, and so we're governed by USA Rugby. But like this past year, while we're on the topic of COVID, this podcast, our whole postseason got canceled completely. Fortunately, we got to play the regular season. So, those playoff games, national playoffs, which I was playing for Arkansas State, we made it this past year, is like, you don't get that exposure on those big fields, big platforms where everyone's watching, when you don't get to play those playoff games. So, it can hurt your prospects if you're not like already on a good playing platform that gets views from top level, coaches and scouts. Yeah. But for me, like I play a lot of year round rugby in the summer. They have like summer leagues that are like 7-on-7, like half of the teams. And, I miss it, but I don't think Corona's greatly impacted me. I'm just, you got to be worried about the future, how, the rugby will change, the like scheduling of games and stuff with all the COVID still kind of lingering around by next spring.
Okay. Do you like 7-on-7s better? Because I know some people love playing sevens.
It's like, it's almost apples to oranges, man. It's a completely different style of game, and I like it. It's fun. It's a lot more tiring, a lot more work, a lot more conditioning and prepping if you're playing on like big tournament sides. But it's not as structured. I prefer 15s, because that's what I've gone on and played in different places, many different teams, but I still have, a little love in my heart for sevens. Okay.
So what made you choose A-State?
Man, I was just wanting to do my own path, I saw a lot of people going to other places, and I was looking around places that were kind of close to home, and good school, trying to chase a college degree and be a athlete. So Arkansas State just kind of fit the portfolio for me. They had good academics, good rugby, kind of familiar with the location, and it clicked, and that was history from there.
Nice. Well, that's what's up. Well, I know that you guys get to travel a lot, and I'm curious to see what are like 3 of your favorite places that you've ever gotten to go to through rugby.
All right, so off the dome, it's going to be Victoria, Canada, British Columbia, and then Mexico City, in Mexico.
Ooh.
And going out to France, I landed in Paris, but we played west side of France and on some sides, and man, it's crazy how beautiful it is out there. That's the one that, like, my favorite parts about rugby is like the ability to travel to different places and like it being like a worldwide sport.
Dang, bro. Yeah, that's crazy. I've never been out of the country, so all three of those places I'd love to go to. Do you guys actually get to like do tourist type things while you're on these trips, or is it just rugby,
Yeah.
and nothing else?
So, yeah, man, there actually is time, you know. So like these tours, you play like usually like a 2-3 game series. So, you know, you have like a window of about like 3 or 4 days in between each game, give or take. And so a lot of that time, you know, you're training, doing 2-a-days, doing like therapy, doing stretching, like mandatory, you know, team rehab. But like, you know, that's only so many hours in the day, and we do take like days to go into the city and like look around and, you know, go enjoy like where we're at, you know. It also depends on like the touring sides. Like playing with USA, you know, you're a lot more busy, a lot more game plan, and I've traveled with like regional teams too, and those were a lot like more laid back, more time to like go around. But the time we do have, it's awesome. You get to see like the like local culture and the natives.
You know, I've got a question for you, Asa. What if you can narrow it down to one? It doesn't have to be like your all-time favorite. If you just think one off the top of your head, what's like your favorite rugby career moment, like high school, college, and then like, you know, national play?
Dude, this is gonna sound okay. I'm gonna kind of cheat out. I have like two. So the first was like winning state my senior year in high school, because it was like kind of like like capping off my like high school career, you know, and like that was kind of like the beginning of my journey into rugby per se. And my other moment I'd say is putting on like a USA jersey for the first time, because I don't know, it's just like that sense of pride, like standing for your like national anthem and like representing your nation is like definitely a cool feeling. Definitely cool.
Okay, that's dope. How far away are you from being on like Team USA that plays in the Olympics?
So
like on TV.
So right now, the only Olympic rugby is sevens. So
Okay.
I mean, there's still you know, there's
Is that your goal? Like, do you want to play in the Olympics one day?
so that honestly, that's not like a goal I'm like working towards. But if I ended up there, you know, who wouldn't want to be in the Olympics? But my goal is to make it to like professional USA men's 15s and you know, play on tours. Like a big goal would be like going to the World Cup, like being on that touring side. That's like a goal. But, you know, I'm still pretty young. I'm only 21 right now. And, you know, you go out there, you're going against grown men that are huge. So, you know, there's going to be a work-in period where you got to work your way up the ladder. But, you know, you got to get better daily.
Hey, have you had like a moment where, you know, you were either, I guess you were like with the U20s or U19s or whatever, and you're just like, dude, this dude's my age, but no way this guy is my age, you know what I mean? Or like maybe a team you were playing against?
Man, so back my freshman year when I was 18, Arkansas State played Life University, and for people that aren't very in the world of rugby, Life University is very top-notch program, well ran,
like the Bama,
yeah,
the Bama of rugby.
the Running Eagles. So these guys, man, a lot of Polynesians happen to be Mormons, so they'll go on their 2-year mission and come back. And so by the time they're seniors, man, these dudes are like 24, 25, have kids, man. I step on the field, you know, and I'm like, all right, let's see what these guys are about. Man, I look across from me, there's a dude that's 6'3", 260, all muscle on. Bro, who are you? And, you know, you get a few of those freaks. And like, I played against this guy from Zimbabwe, and he's like 260, 270, man, just brawl athlete. So you know, you find yourself in those situations where you're just like, man, what are these kids on?
That's hilarious.
Hey, so what's the conditioning like in rugby? Because I know you guys are doing a lot of running. It's kind of like a mix between like a little bit of soccer, a little bit of lacrosse, a little bit of football. How's that conditioning? I see, you guys. There's not a stopping period during rugby.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, no. So the games are split up. If you're playing 15s, it's split up into 40-minute halves. So you got to be in pretty good shape. So a lot of the training, a lot of our practices are like integrated with like high tempo. So you're getting that conditioning while you're training, because a big thing of rugby is like making decisions while you're under pressure and like tired. So we do a lot of training like that, and then we also do like interval training, where it's like practical interval training where you're getting off the ground, moving around, running on like 20-meter bursts, getting down. The game's dynamic. You're off your feet, on your feet, you're in a tackle. It's a lot going on.
Interesting. I just know that in football, I was trained up to run about 10 seconds at a time. And if I had to run long distances, I was done for.
Game over.
I was done for. My energy was in short bursts or not at all.
Asa, going into your senior season, correct? Collegiate season?
Yeah, my final.
So when is, I'm not trying to predict anything, but when is like the pro rugby league draft? Like, when does that all happen? Is there like pro days? Is it like, do they fly you out to like the teams that are interested? Do they fly to you, or do they fly out, or like how does that whole like pre-draft process work? I'm pretty well informed on like how football, how that works, how basketball, hockey. So I'm just interested to hear the comparison between this different sport that I don't really know much about when it comes to the pro side of things.
Well, so I'm kind of early into this whole process of transitioning over to pro. So it's still kind of gray area, but from what I see right now, and I have friends that are actually now like signed and pro, so I've talked to them a little bit. A lot of coaches will just reach out to you. A lot of managers or owners that come watch games, they get a view and they see that these top level teams playing, and they see kids that fit what they want, whether it's style of play or they see a build on a kid they feel like they could fix, and then usually it goes from there. And it's just what they're mainly looking for is if you're willing to sign with them and come out and play with them, because they have a lot of people that they can sign, but they don't want them to just be there for a year and dip. So they can have pro days, I guess you could say, where people can come and make visits, and but most of the time these coaches already know who you're working with and who you're talking to, and they have those eyes out on you before signing day happens. But it's not too much of an elaborate process, since this whole professional league is developing in America, and American rugby's, I'd say, a step or two behind some of these power nations. So the professional scene's still kind of getting chiseled out.
Interesting. Yeah, because I've seen how long has the Major League Rugby been a thing?
So this is
like an actual league?
This is third year, and previously they had a different pro league that went belly under, kind of how the XFL did. They didn't manage finance as well, and it wasn't really backed strongly by the community, or they didn't really have a big push for it to appeal to just everyday Americans. It was more like a rugby niche kind of thing, because now they have all these big pro teams like Rugby ATL branching out and advertising and doing a lot of PR work, reaching out to the general public, and these people are becoming rugby fans.
So I want to get your personal take on this. I believe that if we, as a nation, if we could get more people to play rugby at a younger age, that we could compete with maybe not necessarily beat them all the time, but the New Zealands, the South Africans, the Irish. I think we do beat the Irish a decent amount, but those national powerhouses, I feel because we have over millions of kids playing football. And so what's your take on that?
All right, my take is all pathway. the governing union bodies like USA Rugby, if you want to step up, you need pathways for younger generations. That's the big push in Australia and New Zealand, man. They have these kids playing barefoot rugby from the age of like 4 and 5, running out in the field. And, you know, it's kind of like how it is with like soccer in America, how we have kids poking the ball all day long. And, you know, that once you get that exposure and that like that ball in hand, just like having like kind of like football, tossing it when you're a kid, you know, you get that exposure to the game young, you can build athletes into rugby players, you know. And because the big thing is just exposure. Like imagine how many people like play basketball or play football that, you know, that could have played rugby, that the guys that are 6'9" that go and play b-ball instead. And, you know, there's a lot of athletes in America that could make USA definitely a top-notch group of like rugby players for sure.
I definitely agree, and I feel like if that was something that I had heard of at a young age, or if I had an opportunity to play at a young age, I probably would have, you know what I mean? But it was never offered at our school until high school, so
yeah, exactly.
It does just need more exposure.
Oh yeah, they didn't even, you know, offer it in places other than, you know, Bigsby, Jinx, Union, those places. So, I mean, I would have loved to, you know, dabbled in rugby and seen, you know, the difference between that and football. I mean, rugby is such a interesting game because it's just so physical and it's pure. There isn't any, you know, real politics about it. It's, you know, the best team's gonna win every time, you know. So I really like rugby, you know, for that point.
After I watched the Amazon series about the All Blacks, I just gained a whole new level of like respect. Especially those dudes, bro. Those dudes are crazy big, crazy talented, and they're just all talking like this, mate. There's, you know, we're just gonna go out there and we're just gonna go, you know, just see what happens, and we'll get some brews afterwards. You know, they just talk like that, bro, and then they just casually beat you by like 30.
Isn't there like a tradition in rugby, like the losing team buys the other team beers or something like that, or is that just like? Is that a folklore?
That's interesting.
Well, there's
What about a shoey?
a big thing in hospitality is like rugby's big on that. You know, they want to appeal. So usually like hosting club teams will like provide drinks and food for the other team. They like that's just a big part of the culture is like comradeship. Like, yeah, we just, you know, we're enemies on the field, but after the game we all play rugby. You know, it's a good almost like a second family, you know. You get kind of like a brotherly relation when you see another rugby player, you know. But Devin mentioned a shoey also, if you guys aren't aware. So it's kind of like a Aussie club tradition. Like whenever you score your first try for the club, like, you know, you score your first points, you have to fill your cleat up that you scored in with beer, and you have to shoot it and down it. And it's disgusting, and I've never done it. For good reason.
I only asked because I saw a Barstool video where they went and saw the Sevens team play, and there was a dude, some American guy did a shoey on camera. So that's when I found out what that was.
Wow, that just sounds appalling.
Singing in person.
Asa, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, just singing in person's gross.
Oh yeah, no, thank you, bro. Especially after a long, hard game.
Bro, in that video, they were playing on like a muddy field, bro. So you know there was like mud in there, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That ain't it. So Asa, I'm gonna ask you some more lighthearted, less serious questions. If you could compare your style of play to an animal, what animal would it be and why?
Oh man. Oh, all right. So I want to say a honey badger, man. Just ruthless. we just, you know, taking on things bigger and better than you and just smacking them, man.
I love it.
You kind of got the ferocity of like a Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine. You know, big heart, big fight in me. You know.
Yeah, no, you're definitely like textbook player that can just flip a switch and be a whole different person on the field and then be the nicest person off the field.
Yeah, you gotta have that on-off switch.
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. That's huge, especially in rugby or football. So, all right, nice. Tony Romo or Dak Prescott?
Tony Romo. You already know. Hot take.
Okay.
Is it hot?
Is it
I
though?
don't know if that's a hot take.
That's a hot take. Tony Romo, man. See,
I mean, Tony Romo's won 2 playoff games, or at least
2.
one. And I think one.
hey, so
He also choked one.
let me lay it out like this, man. I think Dak Prescott has a talent that Tony Romo didn't, but Tony Romo had just pure pocket presence, fantastic. Just
Hey, he's
great
got a brain on him
quarterback,
too.
got a
Don't
brain.
forget.
Straight to throw to the other team.
Dak just has
Yeah.
an amazing Cowboys supporting cast right now. Not to talk about hate on Tony Romo's supporting cast too much, man. But like, come on, when you're playing for Wade Phillips and stuff, I mean, come on, man.
Okay.
Come on,
Okay.
come on, man.
Then give me this one. Give me this one. Emmitt Smith or Ezekiel Elliott?
Come on now, Emmitt Smith.
All right.
We'll see.
All right.
Zeke's I wouldn't say Zeke's decline, but he's peaked and not fallen off. But I'd say his production's dropped a tiny bit. So let's see where this next
it
year
was a
happens.
down year for the boys last
I
year.
mean, let's be honest, man. Zeke's a little
Has it been
faded.
enough
He's
years?
not. Really
I'm a
worried
little-
about it.
a
He's
little faded.
Yeah, Zeke's a little faded, bro. He's faded and playing Warzone somewhere. All right. If a bear and a gorilla got in a fist fight, who would win?
Not to be biased, but definitely me. I'd beat them both.
What?
Definitely a gorilla. Real talk though, like just that gorilla energy, bro. Bears are soft.
That gorilla energy.
Bears are soft, bro.
Bears are soft.
Have you ever seen a full-size grizzly bear?
Have you ever seen a full-size gorilla? That's my question.
Yes, but I wouldn't sleep on either side.
Disposable thumbs. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Opposable.
disposable.
I don't need these thumbs.
I think,
Disposable thumb.
I think that's where the gorilla has the advantage. It does have thumbs.
You
I
could
don't
say
need these thumbs.
guerrilla warfare would come into play.
Okay. Well, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
Oh, definitely. Oh, 100. Oh, 100 duck-sized horses for sure.
That's a lot of duck-sized horses, Asa. You sure?
Man, I'm scared of one normal-sized duck. One big duck's gonna kill me, bro.
Hey, bro, I feel like you should have added some it should have been Canadian geese.
Ooh. 100 Canadian geese-sized horses or 1 horse-sized Canadian
come
geese?
on, bro. Canadian geese.
Goose.
Bro, those are mean
Geesin'.
creatures. Okay. Horses aren't gonna do anything, bro. They're so the only reason why a horse would ever mess you up is because they're so big. Think about it. I could kick a bunch of tiny horses.
You could, but eventually your legs are getting tired and you still got 58 to go. And then they'll trample you. If you get on the ground, laying on your back, they will trample you. It's over.
Bro, you know how big a horse is though? Can you imagine 1,000
But
pound
if you
duck?
tame it, if you tame that goose, if you beat it in battle and tame it, you can ride that thing anywhere, bro.
It's kind of like a Pegasus.
It's like How to Train Your Dragon, but How to Train Your Goose.
Man, y'all are smoking quack.
Asa, do you think you could beat 22 5-year-olds in a fight?
22?
For sure,
Yes.
bro.
They're angry though. They haven't had a nap.
5-year-olds.
Bro, have you
They
ever
haven't had a
seen Star Wars Episode 3? Asa go full. He killed the younglings, bro.
Don't call me Anakin.
What are we gonna do? Lightsaber draws.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Classic.
That's Asa, bro. That is Asa. We need to remake that video, but Photoshop Asa's face over Anakin. That can be our promo for this episode. Asa versus 22
Okay,
5-year-olds.
I got a question for Asa. Off the dome, 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street?
21, easy.
Just checking.
Yeah, 2022 was just hey, we made money off 21. Let's see how much we can make off 22 and cover our losses from the budget.
But I just want to thank Asa. Asa, I think you did a magnificent job. You're very professional, very good on the mic. I'd also like to thank my other co-host, Dakota. Shout out Dakota.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out Peyton.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out me. I'm sure there'll be a next episode within the week, episode 4, and we out.